you want, and then they have different themes, like you could do one.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead. Continue.
Site looks pretty straightforward.
Okay, good. Yeah,
There's
send me the
other
link.
tips, and you can get hints like when you don't know a word.
Yeah, well,
You can
yes.
click on it'll give you a hint for it'll tell you what one letter is.
Okay, okay.
And something that's been very useful for me, even with words I know, is that it requires the accents.
Okay.
So one of
Yes.
the first clues was male, no, was it uncle, right? And it's Tio.
Right.
But I put TIO and it kept saying, nope, not right.
Oh, because you
Oh,
needed
gotcha.
the
Right.
icono
But if you
acento.
get it right, it pronounces it for you. So it says, correct, Tio. It was cool. I'm really enjoying it. It's very difficult. I haven't finished one yet without hints, but I don't care. It's fun.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Gracias. Thank you. We will
Perfect.
share that through. Okay. Excelente. Y muy buenos días. Muy buenos días.
días.
¿Cómo están todos? How's everybody?
Muy bien.
Bien, bien.
Ujú.
Okay. Vale. Magnífico. Para un lunes. Yeah, if we've got a good thumbs up for a Monday, that is a good thing. Excelente. Uy, primero, before I forget anything, any other item here, I am committed by Scottsdale to let everybody know that registration started this morning, registration for spring. And I think, when does it start? April? I'll go look up
April
exactly
1st.
if it is. First of April? Okay, gracias, Karen. So the spring classes will start April 1st. And so registration is open. So, if you're one of those people who does tennis or, any other type of things, besides the Spanish as well, I know sometimes some of the slots are limited, so you want to register early. That's not an issue for me. I take people up to the last minute, but that might not be the case for a different type of class you might want to take that might have a limit. So that is starting today. If you live outside the city of Scottsdale, then the registration starts tomorrow. So tiny thing. Excelente. Muchísimas gracias. We are going to do a lot of practice with descriptions, and we're going to kind of, I hope, move from descriptions into comparisons. You've already had a lot of comparisons pop up in some of the listening comprehension videos, but it's a good thing to take a look at and then, actively practice some of those. So, vamos a empezar con descripciones hoy. We're going to start with descriptions, and I'm going to copy your link, Linda, before I forget, and pop it into my own notes so that I make sure I include it in the after class email. I see I am challenged with being able to type on a Monday morning. Vale, bueno. Entonces, primero, el video de la semana pasada, last week's video, which did descriptions, was this one. See? And describing yourself in and out, meaning what you're like inside, your personality, and of course, our exterior, which everybody sees. And the one thing you should have noticed, I hope, from this video is that sometimes we just use easy descriptions. Por ejemplo, no, tengo canas. I'm green now. I used to be able to say soy morena. Ahora no. Now I can't use that morena quite as much. Oh, sí, puedo un poquito. But we use a variety of verbs to describe ourselves, but it might just not be I am brunette, but I have brown eyes, or I measure a certain height. There are a number of, and a lot of times we describe ourselves and our personalities by talking about what we enjoy, things we enjoy doing, or things that we do frequently, or things that we do well. You know, if you are a particularly graceful dancer and that is, you love dancing and you belong to a dance group, bailo muy bien is a description, even though it's talking about, you yourself using a verb. Bailo muy bien, I dance very well. So don't limit yourself just to adverbs describing words and describing yourselves. Actions, what you actually do, are also valid ways to describe yourself. ¿Hay alguna pregunta? Is there any question that popped up from this video that somebody wants to ask before we start our practice? Always want to ask if you've got a leftover question. And they give you the translation, so usually we have fewer questions with these videos. Bien, bien, vale, magnífico. Entonces, adelante. We're going to describe ourselves. We're going to describe other people. And we'll kind of march through this and see what you have to say. I think because we have a few folks out, and because this is kind of good for a whole group anyway, we'll maybe not do as much with a small group yet, but we'll start with the all of us all together. Okay, descríbete. Entonces, el título del Google Slides sí es descríbete, describe yourself. Físicamente y tu personalidad. Okay, and if you're shy or just don't want to share about yourself, you can pick somebody else. That's just fine. The idea is to practice talking about descriptions. See, and I have the link for the video right here. Okay. Y vamos a empezar aquí. Físicamente means to describe physical attributes like height, hair or eye color. Possible verbs used: soy, I am, right? Tengo, I have. For eyes and hair color, often we use tengo, I have, okay? Because I am not a great big eyeball. So I wouldn't say, soy ojos de color café, tengo ojos de color café, right? And, words for hair might include, I think you heard them say in the video, sí, pelo or cabello, la piel, skin color. And notice when the Mexicans talked about themselves, they often used descriptions of skin color. Just because there's such a range of skin colors with the racial mixes that we have from folks from Mexico. So it's something that people frequently use to describe themselves. But if you want to talk about your height, mido, I measure. And that's what we used to use the idea of I am 5'7". Okay. And of course, you probably didn't hear them using pies, but feet is the word pie for the part of your body. Foot is literally also the foot description, because generally we don't use meters. I don't expect people to use that. And so, okay, vale. I wanted you to come with 3 physical descriptions and 3 personality descriptions. All right. And for personalidad, again, you might use soy, you might use me gusta with an infinitive, what you like to do, because often our personality is defined by what we enjoy, our hobbies, our jobs, all of that. Don't be surprised if people ask you when they're getting to know you, ¿a qué te dedicas? ¿A qué te dedicas? literally means what do you dedicate yourself to, but often it's used to ask, what do you do? In English, we might just say, what do you do? Meaning the implication, what do you do for a living? But the a qué te dedicas does not discriminate. So if somebody doesn't have a job or is retired, they can still use that question, a qué te dedicas, and it doesn't discriminate. You can use it to talk about just what you generally are interested in as well. But generally, it's used to talk about what kind of job do you have? Or if you don't have a job, what kind of work do you do? Or projects do you do? Okay, ¿a qué te dedicas? And the question, ¿a qué te dedicas? May not answer with the me dedico a la educación. I dedicate myself to education. The question, ¿a qué te dedicas? Will be often answered with a different kind of verb in the answer. Okay. Por ejemplo, pinto, I paint, if, painting is your thing. Trabajo con la madera, I work with wood, if you're, woodworking is your thing. So just know that works. So here's an example, okay? Por ejemplo, soy de altura promedio, I'm average height. You notice they talked in the video a lot about average height. Soy morena, well, I used to be. Tengo los ojos de color café, brown colored eyes. Or if I have gray hair, tengo canas. Canas is the word for gray hairs. And it's used in plural, of course, because we have more than one hair in our head. Tengo canas. Uso lentes. Uso lentes, llevo lentes que uso para leer y trabajar. Soy delgada y atlética. Soy una persona un poco aventurera. I'm just a touch adventurous, but I would not say wildly adventurous. Soy un poco aventurera y me gusta mucho montar en bicicleta, en bici, y explorar la naturaleza. A veces soy extrovertida, sometimes I'm extroverted, pero a veces me gusta pasar el tiempo sola. Sometimes I like to spend time alone. Soy una persona creativa y cariñosa con mi familia y con mis amigos. No soy muy ordenada. I am not very organized. No soy muy ordenada porque no me gusta organizar ni limpiar las cosas. Pues es así. Your description can be as short as long as you like, okay? And if you don't like talking about yourself, I should have added to that. Talk about someone you know. Ok, vale, bien. Perfecto. Vale. Descripciones. 3 de personalidad, 3 de la, de la física, ¿sí? De nosotros físicamente. Alguien que quiere empezar. Is there somebody who wants to start?
Can I ask a question first?
Sí, claro.
Sorry, pregunta.
Sí, claro.
You used cafe to say your eyes were brown.
Sí.
I used marrones.
Bien.
Same thing? Okay.
Todo bien. All good. Brown is a word that uses many different things, sometimes depending on the region you live in, but ojos morenos is just
Marrones. Maroon. Well,
or
cafe.
marrones. Yeah,
Okay.
brown. Sí.
So I'll change mine to cafe because it's easier to say.
You can use marrones. You stick with what you did. That's fine. Brown
Okay.
is a word that gets very contested because color café is fine, but marrones, brown is just fine too. Marrón is the word for brown, often used in Spain, but in other places too. So it's acceptable. Continúa.
Since I'm talking, do you want me to just go ahead?
Sí, claro, sí.
Okay, no one make fun of me.
Claro
Soy
que
una mujer. Soy baja. Mido 5 pies,
sí, sí.
pies y 3 pulgadas.
Pulgadas, pulgadas. Yeah,
Gadas.
the word for thumb is a kind of like
Ah.
pulgar. Yeah, pulgadas is
Pulgadas.
inches.
Tengo pelo castaño y ojos café
Okay.
con piel, skin,
La piel.
pálida. Tengo gafas.
Y tengo gafas. I have glasses. Or tengo lentes. Either word can be used for glasses. Sí, bien. Vale, magnífico. A ver, bueno, alguien más, somebody else.
I'll try. Nobody laugh.
No one's
Okay.
going to laugh.
Okay. Tengo castaña y ojos azules. No llevo gafas, pero tengo visión mano.
Visión mala?
Mono. I have mono vision.
Oh, okay. 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 Now, keep in mind when we talk about like eye color and hair color, often we will use the words, where in English we wouldn't. You know, in English you wouldn't say, I have the brown eyes. Tengo los ojos marrones. So
Ah,
yeah, so let's add this in to our thought because it is something that it deviates from the pattern you're used to in English. Yeah. Tengo el pelo castaño o el pelo moreno y los ojos
okay.
marrones, los ojos de color café, lo que sea, whichever brown word you want to use, los ojos verdes, los ojos azules, lo que sea. But we'll use the los word with
Los.
that body parts. Bien, bien. Okay, Cindy,
Okay.
¿tienes pregunta?
A quick question.
Sí.
If you're describing yours, you say my hair.
El pelo, my hair. I know. That,
El hair.
we in English, we use possessives. In Spanish, possessives are I'm not going to say they're never used because that would be incorrect. They are used if somebody is making a point in comparison to somebody else. But you know, if you're just saying my hair is brown, okay, you could say mi pelo, but the more normal way would be tengo el pelo. See? If you use the verb ser, then mi would be okay. Mi pelo es castaño. Mi pelo es marrón. Mi pelo es de color café. Okay, bien. But if you use with tengo los ojos azules. I have blue eyes. Tengo el pelo castaño. Tengo el pelo marrón. Okay. So does that answer your question, Cindy? See?
Yes, thank you.
That's a
Good.
hard thing for us to get used to in English
Yeah.
because it's not the pattern we use. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, and another thing is, I can say in a certain sense that it's kind of a no big deal in terms of, well, look, if you use a possessive where you shouldn't, somebody's still going to understand you. You'll still be your message is still communicated. It's just that cadence or the word usage sounds a tiny bit off to them, but they'll understand what you mean. Okay. So don't let the little errors trip you up or make you feel like, oh, somebody won't understand me.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Sí, claro.
Now, after Karen spoke, you mentioned that we needed to use lo or la. lower los, but I didn't. When I said tango pelo,
Tengo
I
el
didn't say
pelo.
tango lo pelo. Do
El
I
pelo.
always have to use low?
El pelo.
Okay,
Tengo el pelo. Yeah,
I mean,
there we
L. I don't
cannot
know why I
use a
said low.
lo. Now that one would be kind of a, yeah, lo pelo is not,
Right.
no, that won't happen.
Yeah, it should have been, I meant L. I was looking at los and I just said low instead of L. I'm sorry.
Yeah. El pelo. El
Sí.
pelo. Yeah.
So I
Lo,
should have said El pelo.
lo
instead
is a
of-
direct object. Yeah. Like lo tengo, I have it, meaning a thing that is a masculine thing. Okay.
Okay. So-
You know, like el café. Sí, lo tengo. I have it.
Okay,
Talked about that.
so here's the $35,000 question.
Okay.
You and I and everyone else know it's grammatically incorrect for me not to say the hair. I have the hair brown, right?
Oh, in
In
English, in English,
In Spanish.
in
I
Spanish.
would say tengo el pelo castaño.
Tengo el pelo castaño.
That's grammatically correct.
Grammatically correct, even
How
though, yeah.
horrible would it be if I said, in speaking to someone who's native speaker,
Uh-huh.
Tango Peyo Castaño?
That is technically a tiny error, but it will not get in the way of your communicating.
It would be like they would take it the same way I would take it if a non-English speaker said, I
And-
have the brown
And
hair.
English, if somebody learning English might say, because they're used to the Spanish pattern, I have the brown hair. And okay, it sounds off to you, of course,
Right.
in
Mhm.
English, but did you understand the idea they just, yes,
So it's not going to get in anyone's way.
it
of
won't get in the
understanding.
way of somebody understanding you.
Gracias.
It
But
will not
I
get
will
in the
make
way.
it.
So actually, I just, there was a video of someone I follow, one that just got published Sunday. And this lady kind of went through, you know, people who get like, oh, you know, almost, it's easy to get yourself paralyzed to not speak, you know, being afraid of making that mistake or any
Yes.
mistake. But the fact is, you will make some mistakes. As long as you're understood, go for it. And we can correct those little bobbles as you go along. And you know, her point was, people get kind of clenched up over, oh, I'm afraid to speak because I'll make a mistake. But the fact is, if somebody is listening to you, they're not sitting there mentally doing a grammar police thing on you all the time. You know, her comment was, is somebody saying, oh, they used the wrong conjugation of that verb? Well, no, they're just saying, did I understand the idea you wanted to convey? And the thought that will go through most people's minds is how wonderful that you're trying,
Okay.
not how many mistakes you're making, which was a wonderful message to have for people. Their first reaction will not be, oh, they conjugated that verb wrong. They used the wrong word there. It'll be, I understand the idea you're conveying to me, or I don't understand. And the don't understand is maybe not in a good place, but then that means that you probably need to fix more of the vocabulary or your ability to use the actual words to convey your ideas.
So, yeah, thank you for bringing that up again. You know, that's a big block for me is I'm always.
Yeah, don't let it stop you, because people will be less judgmental than you think. I would say, with this exception, if you're in a service setting, if you're in a store that is super busy, or a restaurant that is super busy, where somebody doesn't have a lot of time to devote to understanding you, then they could get a little impatient. But in general, you know, you just walk up to somebody and ask for directions or something like that. or you have a question on a bill on a hotel or something like that, as long as people are not in a real rush, they're going to be quite understanding. And they're good with, hey, this person is trying, and I understand basically what they mean. Bien. Ok. ¿Hay otro voluntario? ¿Hay alguien que quiere practicar un poquito más? Cindy, sí.
Yes, and I have a couple questions along the way. So,
Todo bien,
Thank-
all good.
tengo los ojos verdes que aman maquillarse.
Maquillarse.
Does that
Okay.
make sense? I have green eyes that like makeup.
Sí. Tengo, tengo los ojos verdes que me gustan, que me gusta maquillar. Sí. I like to use the makeup on. Sí.
So would you use maquillarse?
Sí, maquillarse, maquillar, because, sí. Because you're talking about just the eyes, maybe just maquillar, but maquillarme, me gusta maquillarme. Sí.
Me
Bien.
gusta. Okay. Okay. Sí. Y, oh, here we go. The two ways here. Tengo el pelo corto y marrón. Or mi pelo es corto y marrón.
Mi pelo es corto, sí, y marrón. Bueno, sí, igual.
Los dos.
Bien, bien, los
Sí.
dos, sí.
Okay. Tengo unas de las manos y de los pies necesitan ser manicura.
Oh, sí, manicura, sí, para las uñas.
Sí.
Bien. Ok, ¿te gusta pintarte las uñas? ¿Te gusta pintarte las uñas? You like to have them
Well,
cut.
I'm trying to say is my fingernails and toenails need a manicure.
Sí, ok.
Or
Eso.
I have fingernails and toenails that need to be manicured.
Eso, sí. Ok, ok. A ver, sí. Sí, manicura sí es manicure, sí. Las uñas y los dedos del pie necesitan manicura.
Los
Sí.
dedos.
Sí, los
Dedos.
dedos de los pies. Los dedos de los pies means your toes.
Those. Okay.
Los dedos, dedos,
Mhm.
pero dedos de los pies means the fingers of your feet, which means your
So-
toes.
Not unos, unas de.
O las uñas, sí, las uñas. Las
Okay.
uñas.
Okay.
You can be just very general. Las uñas. Uñas son nails.
Mhm.
Sí. Las uñas las uñas de la mano y las uñas de los pies necesitan una manicura. Bien,
Sí, sí, gracias.
de nada. So, putting nail polish on is often used as pintarse, painting yourself. Pintarse las uñas, pintarse las uñas. Painting your nails. Es lógico. Bien. Vale, perfecto. Okay. Alguien más. Somebody else.
I have one, maybe. Let's see.
Okay, Danita.
Tengo unos los verdes, pero a veces son azul. Depende de la ropa que uso.
Bien.
Is that correct?
Sí.
Correcto? No?
Bueno.
Okay. No, okay, somebody else.
Okay. Bien. Sí. Y Lori?
Yeah, I have two that I have questions about. So initially I had mi cuerpo, but it would be el cuerpo. El cuerpo es promedio.
Sí, tengo el cuerpo promedio. I have
And
an
is
average
promedia,
body.
does it agree with like the Is it
Sometimes
promedio?
it does with it. Tengo
promedio?
el cuerpo promedio. Yeah, gens promedio is often used just as promedio. Yeah.
Okay. And then my other one is, I want to say I have brown hair and a little bit of gray. So tengo el pelo café y poquito cano.
Sí.
Is that right?
Sí. Bueno, a ver. Okay. Gray is generally, you learn that word as gris, right? If you want to say gray hair, tengo el pelo moreno or marrón, whichever word you use there. Y un poco canoso, a little grayish. Canoso means grayish when you're talking about hair.
Mm.
Yeah. I use tengo canas. Tengo canas, I have gray hairs. And then it's canas. But if you say grayish, like, yeah, to describe hair, meaning there's a little bit here and there, canoso. Bien?
Okay.
Okay.
Just a quick question. Can you say dejé una mezcla de gris? A mix?
Sí, también. Sí.
Sí.
¿Tiene sentido? Makes sense. ¿Tiene sentido? Sí. Excelente. Bueno, hay otra idea. Hay descripciones de la personalidad que ustedes tienen.
Let me say, I've got another one, but I'm not sure it's correct. No, no soy delgado ni gordo. I'm neither fat or thin.
Oh, no soy
know.
ni delgada ni gorda.
Oh,
I
ni-
am
ni
neither
delgada ni-
skinny
okay.
nor.
Yeah.
Sí, bien.
Sí.
So the reason we're doing this is you see, like, there's this multitude of
Mhm.
ways, that we say these ideas in English, and there will be a multitude of ways you can express these in Spanish too. Excelente, muy bien. ¿Algo más de personalidad o no?
Oh,
No, nada. Bien. Ok. Bueno.
do you
Ah.
want the personality ones?
Sí.
Oh, I didn't realize we moved on to that.
Sí.
Okay. I can do one. Soy muy extrovertida.
Mhm.
Bien.
Two thumbs up.
Extrovertida, extroverted, outgoing. And the opposite would be introvertida. Yeah, introvertida would be the opposite of that. Sí, extrovertida, vertida, and of course for a man it would be extrovertido with an O at the end. Introvertido, O at the end. Sí, eso, perfecto. ¿Algo más, Cindy, o no?
Sí. Okay. Yo trato de ser pensativa y amable.
Bien, excelente. Muy bien.
A mí me gusta jugar el pickleball.
Y claro,
Ah.
sí, te gusta jugar al pickleball, sí. Eso, sí. Bien. Okay, bien. And, this idea of being thoughtful or blends into, there are a lot of different words you might use for thoughtful or kind or a nice person, right? All those kind of general words. You could use considerado, atento. Amable is always good. Amable is one of the number one compliment, nice words that's used, right? You hear people often say, eres muy amable. You're very nice. You're very kind. Okay. Cortés, courteous.
Have this strange
Okay.
noise.
So there are a lot of different words that will work out for the nice, thoughtful, considerate kind of descriptions.
You guys are
Um,
lower level bathroom,
okay,
Speaking of nice.
I'm gonna
and-
mute
but it's in
your
the ceiling.
mic. Okay,
Okay.
vale, bien. Bueno,
Speaking-
hay otra descripción de personalidad.
Mhm. I'll try one.
Lori, bien.
Awesome. Oh, good.
Go ahead, Karen.
Oh, okay, okay. Soy tímida, pero me gusta la gente.
Ok,
I'm
perfecto.
trying to say I am shy, but I like people.
Excelente. Sí, tímida. Tímida looks like
Yeah.
timid and well, shy kind of does mean, but timid is a little different from shy in English, I think, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tímida, shy, sí, pero me gusta la gente, but I like people. Ok, perfecto. Perfecto. Bueno, y Lori?
Yeah, Lori.
Me gusta hacer rompecabezas de palabras. Soy muy organizada. Is that correct word, organized?
Organizada o ordenada, sí. Bien.
Okay. Y tomo 2 clases de Scottsdale Parques y Recreación, Español y Tai Chi.
Uy, Tai Chi. ¡Ah! La clase de
Sí,
Tai Chi es muy popular.
Mhm.
Sí, la clase de Tai Chi es bueno para el equilibrio. Veamos.
Sí.
Bien,
Sí,
sí.
huesos,
Y,
los huesos.
y para mantener los huesos en buenas condiciones. Sí,
It's good
sí.
for osteoporosis, yeah.
La-
And your brain, el mente.
y sí, porque hay que pensar y quizás es bueno para meditar, ¿sí? Pensar, enfocarse, good for focusing, ¿sí?
And memory. I say it's brain, bones, and balance.
Y la memoria, sí,
the
es
3
bueno
Bs.
para el cerebro, es bueno para el equilibrio y para los huesos and for your bones. Y yo no sabía, I did not know that. No lo sabía, pero ahora sí. Bien, excelente. Hay otras expresiones con personalidad.
I can try, but I have lots of questions.
That's okay. That's why we're here.
I went a little long on this one. No me gusta estar con la gente.
Okay.
Me gusta pasar el tiempo sola porque soy tímida.
Tímida, sí.
Tímida.
Sí.
Perfecto,
okay.
pasar, perfecto.
I looked hard for that one. So this is my question. I was trying to say, I'm not always nice, but I am always kind. I had seen something in a book that made me think of this, but I couldn't figure out how to phrase it because amable would be nice and kind. So I
is.
said,
Mhm.
no siempre soy simpático.
Simpática is generally
Simpático.
used for, yeah, nice, simpática.
Sí, simpática, pero trato de ser amable.
Trato de ser amable. Sí.
So
Así-
would people understand what I was trying to say?
Sí, 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 claro.
The
Trato de-
nuances.
Trato de ser amable,
I'm
sí.
trying to get
Eso.
creative with my homework.
Sí, ok. Por ejemplo, mi hija dice con frecuencia, me dice o les dice a la gente, les dice a otros con frecuencia, que soy una persona introvertida. Entonces, en un grupo muy activo, no hablo mucho. Pero muchas veces no hablo mucho porque soy invertida, soy una persona invertida, ¿sí? Así que no hablo mucho, pero escucho bien, escucho y pienso en las personas que están hablando. Y así es. Ok. Bien. Y para ella, a ella le gusta pasar el tiempo con la gente, pero un tiempo definido, poco tiempo, no todo el día. Ella no quiere estar o pasar el tiempo con la gente horas y horas y horas del día. Quiere pasar, quiere ir a una fiesta 2 o 3 horas, pero una fiesta de toda la noche, toda la mañana, no. Así, ¿bien? Bueno, hay otras descripciones de personalidad. Hay más. ¿O no? Ok, ¿bien? Bien. And just as there are a lot of descriptions possible in English, there is, or I would say, it's better, mejor dicho, better said, there is no one way. There is no one way in English to describe people. Well, there is no just one way to describe people in Spanish either. So now we want to kind of step out of the me mode. Bien. And we want to maybe use some descriptions, and they might be physical and they might be personality, and you can mix them whatever way you like. And I tried to pick some people that hopefully you would know. Okay. Aquí, ¿cómo describimos? ¿Cómo se describe? Y voy a escribir esto aquí. How might you describe this? This question we would phrase in Spanish as, ¿cómo se describe cada persona? ¿Cómo se describe cada persona? How would one describe? ¿Cómo se describe cada persona? ¿Sí? Bien. Y tenemos a 4 personas aquí. La reina Isabel. And I know all these people are Granada, so it's, but we're going to use present tense anyway. La reina Isabel, Marilyn Monroe, B.B. King, Andy Warhol. Bien. Ok. Una idea para describir una persona o las 4, no, lo que sea, whatever it might be for you. Oh, and Cindy, I've got you muted because we had some noise bleeding over. Okay.
What is Isabella? Isabel.
Isabel
Elizabeth.
is Elizabeth.
Oh, Isabel. Okay.
Isabel.
I thought you gave her a new name. Okay.
La reina Isabel.
Isabel.
Okay.
Okay. Are you looking for somebody to make a
Sí,
sentence?
claro.
Claro.
Sí, Cindy.
La reina Isabel fue.
Fue. Or
Fue.
actually, if you're going to
What-
describe her, era would be better. I'm going to write this little word in here. If you
Era.
want to say was instead of is, since she was no
Uh-huh.
longer with us, here is the description word of was. Era. Instead of
Era.
es. Yeah.
Sí, era. I was going to use, or used to be. Could you use that too?
Eso sí, exacto, exactly. That era means was, but in the idea of used to be, because when we describe how somebody was, we're talking about their general characteristics most of the time, right? And we use the word era as, think of it as the past version of es.
Mhm.
Okay, because she is no longer alive, you may prefer to say she was as a describer. And here's the right way to start that. Era.
Era. La reina Isabella era muy amable.
Muy amable, sí.
Todo, la vida.
Toda la
Todo.
vida, muy consciente, era muy consciente de la tradición.
Sí.
Bien, sí, bien. Ok. Y bueno, era bajita. She was a shorty, ¿sí?
Sí.
Era bajita. Era baja. Una mujer baja. Ok. Bien. Otras descripciones. Any other descriptions? And you can use es if you don't want to use a past tense thing. Está bien. We can talk about what they did, what they were like, what they used to like. Lori.
Do you want me to just go through all cuatro? Todo cuatro? Okay,
Cualquiera.
so
Any.
la reina Isabel se murió muy vieja.
Muy vieja, sí.
Andy Warhol era raro y usaba drogas.
It's a long one.
B.B. King tocaba la guitarra muy bien y estaba diabético. Marilyn Monroe era muy guapa y tenía un gran cuerpo.
Sí. A great body.
Sí.
Okay. Un gran cuerpo. Well, yeah. Mejor dicho. Here's a little better vocabulary word. Un buen cuerpo. Buen
Physique.
cuerpo.
Gran.
Un cuerpo muy hermoso. Un cuerpo, digamos, ideal o para mujer, ¿sí? Bien. And so you heard Lori using some past ideas for this. So you might say, toca la guitarra, but the past, if we flipped it to past, would be tocara. Just so that you know, that's just the past form, right?
Tocaba.
What he used to do. Yeah, so that you, para que sepan, so you know, because you heard her say it, but you might not know how that looks written out. Tocara, ¿sí? Marilyn Monroe era actriz. Era una actriz muy sexy, sí, bien. Bien.
Is sexy the same in English and
Se
Spanish?
dice sexy, sí. Sí. You know, and sometimes to connote, to give a connotation of somebody is, you know, hot looking, they might say, está muy bueno, está muy buena,
He's
right?
hot.
Yeah, that's, yeah. Okay. Pero sexy es una palabra prestada. That's a loaned out word. It just became very popular, muy popular. Okay. Bien. Okay. Y podemos escribir también, sí, la reina Isabel tenía, ella era una persona que muy amante de los animales. She was a real
Sí.
animal lover. Sí,
Ujú,
era una persona muy amante de los animales.
ujú.
Tenía muchísimos perros y caballos. Caballos, sí. A ella le gusta o a ella le gustaba criar los animales. She liked raising animals. Bien. Ok. Andy Warhol era una persona bastante rara, ¿no? Era raro. He was kind of a weird guy. Sí, sí, para la gente promedio, sí, for the average person, sí, Era raro porque era una persona artística, ¿sí? Pero tenía siempre el pelo muy raro, sí, todo eso. Ok,
Yo tengo una pregunta.
sí, dime.
If we said Andy Warhol era un artista,
Era
an A
artista.
rather than an O.
Artista con A, artista with an A, sí. Artista siempre es artista. El artista, a man artist, la artista. Artista is always ista. It never flips to an O ending. That ending is always consistent with ista.
Okay.
Bien.
Gracias.
Sí. Entonces, sí, Andy Warhol era artista y B.B. King era artista musical, a musical artist, ¿sí? Era músico. He was a musician. Era músico. Músico does have an O ending, músico, but the ista endings always stay consistent, ista. Bien, buena pregunta. Ok, ¿hay otras descripciones? Aquí, o adelante. Adelante.
I ask a question.
Sí.
Otra pregunta, por favor.
Sí,
A mí me gusta sus pinturas, his paintings, sus pinturas.
sus pinturas, sí.
Sí.
Sí. Oh, ok, bueno. Para hablar de los artistas, sus pinturas, his paintings, sí. But if you want to talk about somebody's body of work,
Mhm.
you know, like all their works, often this word is used, sus obras, obras. And I'll write it here on the screen para que sepan, so you know. Uy. Sus obras. Obras, O-B-R-A-S. Obras is used for their works. Often when we talk about like collectively, all the things they've done, right? Yeah, when they create something physical. Okay.
Is obra also used for like play?
Obra is often used for a play as well, see, or a film, see? So all kinds of artistic endeavors, see. As a matter of fact, the word for masterpiece is obra maestra, their masterwork, obra maestra. Su obra maestra. Ok, buena pregunta. Ok, siguiente. Aquí tenemos otras personas que no son artistas. Bien. ¿Cómo, otra vez? ¿Cómo se describen? How are they described? Bien, ¿cómo? Se describe cada persona. Bien.
But it's not working.
What they do, what they're like, what they enjoy, what they're good at, lo que sea, whatever it might be. Físicamente o personalidad, no importa. Tenemos aquí Mark Cuban y Simone Biles y Alex Rodriguez.
Well, I'll go if nobody.
Sí, bien, ok,
I have
Lori.
some Mark Cuban. Él es muy rico y tiene un negocio que vender las drogas por menor.
Oh, sí. Sí. Es rico. He is rich. Sí. Es rico. When we describe food, it's está rico because that means something is prepared in that way, but to talk about somebody having a lot of money, es rico. Y sí, Mark Cuban tiene muchas empresas, tiene o tenía, no sé exactamente, tiene un equipo de baloncesto, ¿no? De básquetbol.
Sí, sí.
Sí, tiene un equipo, sí. Es el dueño, he's the owner, es el dueño de un equipo de básquetbol también. Y una compañía que produce o distribuye drogas, ¿sí? Con que no cuestan tanto, they don't cost so much. Bien, bien. Bueno, otras descripciones
It's a good thing to keep that up with that.
de
Well, I
Simone.
have some for the other two,
Ok, vale.
if you'd like. For Simone Biles, tiene una mente fuerte porque dejé las Olímpicas para su salud y
Ah.
compartía esta información con todo el mundo.
Sí, ella tiene a veces, sometimes, sí, problemas de la salud mental, porque su deporte a veces es peligroso. Her sport is
Mhm.
sometimes dangerous, ¿sí?
Yeah.
Y, momentito. I need to pause for a quick moment. My AC folks are calling. Perdón. Ay, ¿dónde está? Momentito. Lo siento mucho. Hello. 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 Okay. AC guys are supposed to come when this class is over, and I don't know why they're calling now. Okay, a ver. Perdón, disculpen, forgive me. Bueno, hay otras, sí, ok, Simone Biles, sí, bien. Ella también es baja, ¿sí? Es baja y
Pero
morena, es baja y morena. And that morena can refer to, sí, el color de la piel y el color del pelo. Bien. Es una mujer muy bonita. Muy bonita. Tiene los músculos muy fuertes. Claro, sí. Bien. Algo más de alguien, ¿sí? Es famosa. Bien. Este tipo aquí, el señor Rodríguez, ¿cómo se describe? How would we describe him? Perdón, una vez más. Oh, no. Eso no. Because of my appointments, I have too many things pinging at me. Ok, vale. El señor Rodríguez, ¿cómo podemos escribir este tipo? ¿Es bajo?
Pagaba demasiado dinero.
Oh, lo pagaba. They paid him too much.
Pienso. They paid him too much.
Ok. Entonces, es, sí, sí, está jubilado. ¿Es he retired? Sí, técnicamente, pero es deportista, es jugador de béisbol, es jugador muy famoso de béisbol, ¿sí? Es alto o bajo.
alto.
Alto, sí, es muy alto. Es un hombre muy alto y muy fuerte, pero le pagaban demasiado. They paid him too much. Quizás. Ok. Opiniones. Marcos, estoy segura de que Marcos tiene opinión de la cantidad de su salario. I'm sure that he has an opinion on his salary. El salario, sí. Pero era muy famoso cuando era jugador de béisbol, ¿no? Y era exnovio de J-Lo, ¿verdad?
Ah,
Era
sí.
exnovio de J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez, ¿sí? Again, we can use es to say is or era to say was. Era exnovio de J-Lo. Y todavía es muy famoso, especialmente en Nueva York, ¿no? Ok, bien.
Marilyn,
Adel-
I have a question.
Sí, dime.
Okay. Whenever you're describing a female that's famous, you have to make it agree. Famosa.
Famosa, sí.
When you're talking about a female's eyes, do you have, are you still los ojos or las
Los
ojos?
ojos,
Okay, it
exacto.
doesn't match, right?
Karen, tienes buena pregunta.
Yeah,
Sí.
okay.
Cuando describimos físicamente a la gente, cuando hablamos de los ojos, sí, tiene los ojos negros. Tiene sí.
Okay.
Los ojos will always be los ojos, even if they belong to a female.
Okay,
Perdón, ¿por qué?
okay.
Las partes del cuerpo, the parts of the body, follow gender rules. And even though you're talking about a female, you'll still use los ojos with the
Okay.
descriptions there, right? Sí.
Okay.
Now, so the one exception to that, Karen, would be if I just want to say she's brunette. Okay. I
Okay.
could say, sí, es morena, because
Okay.
she's a brunette, all of her. But tiene el pelo negro. She has black hair. Sí, tiene el
Okay.
pelo negro. Then it goes to el pelo negro, right?
Yeah,
So if I
That's-
just say she's brunette in general, es
Yeah.
morena, right? But tiene el pelo negro, she has black hair. And then we go
Okay.
back to that el pelo thing. So just like los
Okay.
ojos, el pelo, yeah, those stay.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to go by the body part there. Okay, perfecto. Sí, adelante,
Okay.
adelante. Y aquí tenemos a la izquierda el Oppenheimer, ¿verdad? Sí, y a la izquierda y a la derecha es una foto del actor, sí, que hace el papel de Oppenheimer en la película muy famosa que se llama Oppenheimer, ¿bien? Sí, pero la persona que se llama o que se llamaba Oppenheimer y Bill Gates y Sandra Oh, ok. ¿Cómo podemos escribir estas personas aquí? Tenemos 3 más. We've got 3 more.
Oppenheimer. Oh,
And again, I'm going to put in here a was, because some of these people are no longer with us. Es is, but if you want to flip to past, just use era to say was. Tenemos
I have
dos
one.
personas vivas. We've got 2 living people, one who is deceased. See?
So, Oppenheimer, un hombre triste, al fin de su vida.
Sí, al fin de la vida, sí.
Would it
Así
be la
éramos.
vida or su vida?
No importa mucho,
Either.
no importa
Okay.
mucho. Sí,
Mm.
sí. Estaba triste al fin de su vida, sí. Era una persona triste. He was a sad person, sí, quizás. al fin de su vida, de la vida, sí. Ok, bien. Oppenheimer era muy inteligente,
Sí, sí.
era muy intelectual, claro, muy intelectual. Ok. A pesar de, era muy delgado. Era muy delgado, era flaco. He was really skinny. Era muy flaco, ¿no?
Ujú.
Sí, mejor dicho, flaco. You could really describe him as skinny,
Ujú.
flaco. ¿Sí? Pero a pesar, in spite, a pesar de ser flaco, montaba a caballo. He used to ride horses. En Nuevo México, sí, montaba a caballo con frecuencia. Entonces no era exactamente débil. He wasn't exactly a weakling in spite of being kind of a skinny guy. Sí, ok, vale. Bueno, Oppenheimer era un hombre complicado. Era un hombre complicado. A complicated man. Bien, ok. Otras descripciones. Hay
Los hombres se parecen.
they look alike?
Ujú.
Los dos se parecen, they look alike.
Los dos.
Los dos se parecen, the two of them look alike. Así es, sí. Ok, bien.
Mm.
Bueno, excelente. ¿Y qué más? Porque tenemos dos personas más aquí, Bill Gates y Sandra Oh. ¿Quiénes son? Hay descripciones que podemos usar para los demás, the other ones, los demás.
I have one.
Ok.
Bill Gates también es muy rico, pero ayuda a la gente en todo el mundo, especialmente los países pobres en África.
Sí, Bill Gates tiene una fundación. Tiene una fundación bien conocida, well known, sí, bien conocida como Gates Foundation, sí, la Fundación Gates, sí, y ayuda a la gente, a la gente de los países bastante pobres, sí. Sí, la fundación ayuda a la gente con la salud, sí, a contener agua potable, with having potable water, creo, ¿no? Sí. Con vacunas, with vaccinations. Ayuda con eso, sí, también. Bien. Bueno, Bill Gates es una persona ambiciosa.
Sí.
Creo que sí, sí. Bueno, Cindy, ¿tienes algo?
Bill Gates es una nerd.
Eso sí. Se dice, hay un término en inglés que es nerd, y sí es correcto. A veces se dice nerd también, o en España se dice friki, friki. I have also heard the word ganso used as a slang for nerd, ganso, which is kind of like
Ganso.
saying a goose. Which kind of fits in that nerd realm idea, right? See? Sí. Un hombre muy inteligente con la técnica, sí, sí, en el mundo de las computadoras. En el mundo de la informática is computing, la informática. Un inventor de software en el mundo de la informática. Bien. Ok. Pero sí ayuda a la gente pobre en general con frecuencia. Bueno, aquí tenemos, esta mujer aquí tiene un trofeo. Ella tiene en la mano un trofeo. ¿Sí? Un Golden Globe, un trofeo que se llama Golden Globe, sí, el globo de oro. Y una descripción de Sandra.
Sandra, oh, es muy bonita
Es muy bonita
y delgada.
y delgada, sí. Y
Es
es
muy talentosa.
talentosa, sí, talented. You can say, es posible decir tiene talento o ella es talentosa. Ella es talentosa. So, just like I said, there is no one way. Es talentosa, or you can also say tiene talento. Okay, bien. She has talent or she is talented. Es talentosa. Bien.
I have one.
¿Sí?
Me gustó en la película Bajo del Sol de Tuscan y en la serie Arliss en HBO.
Sí, bien, sí. Y también ella tenía una serie como Killing Eve, ¿no?
Yeah.
Y ella ganó muchos premios, ganó muchos premios por sus obras en el cine y en la televisión también. Ok, perfecto. Bueno, so what I want to leave you with is that sometimes, a veces, necesitamos algo un poquito más adelante con descripciones. Sometimes we need something to go a little bit like a step beyond with descriptions. And that step beyond is sometimes what we would call comparisons. So I want to show you a little video. I want to end with this video on comparisons because I want us to step into some more descriptions but with some comparisons next week. Okay, so we're going to take a quick look at this because es breve, it's brief, but it'll give you some ideas on how we can still use descriptions, but sometimes we want to use them in a comparative sort of situation. A ver, I need to make sure I've got my audio on with this. I think I did. Yes, I did not have my audio checked. Aquí. Okay. Adelante. Onward.
In English, when we want to compare two things, we often use comparative adjectives. For example, he is happier than his brother. This car is smaller than the other one. Or the book is more interesting than the movie.
So these are still descriptions, but a lot of times we want to use descriptions in a context of comparing two things.
We can also compare actions by using comparative adverbs. For instance, you speak more quickly than I do. Or Gloria sings better than Daisy.
Okay, so now we can use comparisons for adjectives, meaning we're describing things or people. we can use also comparisons for adverbs, and adverbs is just a fancy word meaning describing the way an action is done, or yeah, how somebody does something as opposed to what they look like. Adverbs just describe actions. Okay.
Finally, you can also compare nouns. There are more girls than boys, or
And that's
more
just
people speak Chinese than English.
And that's just describing kind of quantities more, right? We can compare people with descriptions. We can describe actions. We can compare nouns, meaning telling what you have maybe more of than another item.
As you can see, in English, these comparatives are usually expressed by saying more than or by adding "er" to the comparative word.
Yeah, okay. So you would say more beautiful, more talented, right? But you wouldn't say more tall. You would say
Taller.
taller. How do you know it's taller and not more tall? How do you know? Why? Why is it not beautifuler? Probably because you know what? That's too hard to pronounce. Beautifuler. Yeah. Yeah. So those longer syllables, the only description are the only way I can tell you that about the English is that I guess the longer the word is, well, you're probably going to use more with it. More handsome, more beautiful, but faster, taller, stronger. Those shorter words often get the yeah. Okay.
To compare two things that are unequal in Spanish, use the construction más que.
So this is a nice general thing. Más que, más blank, 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 que. And the ... is where your description goes. Okay. Más with a description and then que. All right. So again, they're descriptions just like you just finished doing, but we're going to be comparing two different things here.
The comparative is most often used with adjectives. Más plus the adjective plus que. Compare these sentences with and without the comparative. Juan es alto. Yo no soy alto. Juan es más alto que yo.
Es más alto que yo. He is taller than I am. Okay, we're comparing two people, Juan y yo.
Diana está contenta. Ana no está contenta. Diana está más contenta que Ana. So, this construction can also be used with adverbs or nouns.
Okay, so you had descriptions there, and we're going to flip into adverbs, talking about how people do stuff. Yeah, okay. How they do stuff is considered an adverb
Más
situation.
Plus adverb plus que, or más plus noun plus que. For example, el avión va más rápido que el tren.
A plane goes faster than a train. And we're describing, we're using rápido, fast, to describe that verb va. Yeah, how it goes.
Él no tiene más dinero que yo.
So here they're using it with a noun. Oh, momentito. Let me back that up a little bit. We're using it with the noun dinero.
Él no
he doesn't have more money than me. Él no tiene
más dinero que yo.
Él no tiene más dinero que yo. He doesn't have more money than I. So the más can also be used with dinero, a thing. Okay, dinero is a thing. It's not a description. So we can use más with a thing as well, especially with that have.
When más
Idea.
is followed by a number, the construction más de is used. For example, el móvil cuesta más de $600.
Ah, okay. If you want to say something is more than with a number. The number does not use más que. A number will use más de. El móvil, and we would use here on this side of the pond, el celular. El celular cuesta más de $600. It costs more than $600. Yeah, more than $600 because we've got 600, 600, right? A number, it's más de, more than an amount. Okay. Okay. Tengo más de 2 mascotas. I have more than 2 pets. Tengo más de 2. Because I'm using dos, a number. It's más de. Most of your descriptions are not going to use a number, but just so that you know, para que sepan, so that you know, más de if you have a number instead of a description, right? Or a noun.
However, if the sentence is negative, que is used before a number. For example,
Don't worry
no
too much
tengo
about
más
this.
que 15 minutos.
I don't have more than 15 minutes. That's,
You can also use the
we're not going to actively practice that, so don't focus on that. Focus on the bigger
construction
ideas here.
menos que.
Now, so the opposite, más que is more than, but we can use a less than as well. And the less than, instead of having más que, it'll be a menos que.
Less than, to talk about inequality. For example, John está menos contento que William. Tengo menos dinero que tú. While más que or menos que compares two things explicitly, you can use them alone without que to make implied comparisons. For example, el año pasado estaba gordo, pero ahora estoy más delgado.
Oh, okay. And yeah, here's an implied description. Estoy más delgado. I am more slender. I am thinner. Okay. And you're not saying than I was last year. It's implied, right? I am thinner, meaning I'm just talking about myself than I used to be.
Pareces más contenta hoy.
You seem happier now than you were, but we don't say all that other stuff, right? It's implied. So you might hear más contenta without the que, because I'm not putting another person in that place. I'm just saying happier than you were before.
Spanish also has a few irregular comparatives. Note that we have the same phenomenon in English.
Okay, so now this one will be important. Most of the time, you can just blanket use más something que or menos something que. But there are 4 words that are going to be biggies that are considered irregular. And when we say irregular as a comparison, what we mean is we don't use más or menos. We've got to use the special word. Okay? We can still use the que, but we have to use a special word. It won't be más. You'll see what they use here.
Just as we say better instead of more good or gooder.
Yeah, you don't
or
say more
worse instead of more bad or badder. In Spanish, the words bueno, malo, grande, and pequeño have irregular comparatives.
Okay,
For-
here come the irregulars. We can't say más bueno. So we'll take out the word más and we'll use a whole word to substitute in to say
Example.
better.
For the adjective bueno, that means good,
Mejor, better. Okay. Mejor could be plural. Mejores, you know, if these things are better, right? So it's mejor or mejores.
David and Kimberly first pace. Kimberly pace.
which means better.
Malo, to say worse, isn't más malo, it's peor, or it might go into a plural form, peores, right? Worse. Better, worse. Better, mejor. Worse, peor. Know that they have plural forms too. And here with grande and pequeño, I would also say substitute in here the idea of joven, young, and viejo, old, when we talk about people. Okay, that's an important thing to know. Not if you want to say a house is older, but a person is older. And grande pequeño is talking about big or little, as in age here, or as in greatness, I guess.
For the adjective malo, that means bad, the comparative is peor, that means worse.
Okay.
The adjective grande, that means big, the comparative is mayor, that means bigger or older. The adjective pequeño.
And mayor, I would say usually you're going to hear it more in the context of older for people or animals. Okay. Older. It can mean greater, like you know, a greater issue, a greater problem, kind of an abstract way, right? But usually for older in age of people.
Pequeño, that means little. The comparative is menor, that
Okay.
means younger.
And menor is going to mean younger. It can mean minor, right? Algo de menor importancia, minor importance. It can mean, but generally mayor and menor are going to be talking about age of people. Menor, younger, mayor, older. And you're going to consistently use these to talk about people's age, like mi hermano mayor, my older brother. Mi hermana menor, my younger sister. Okay, so here are the 4 biggies that are irregulars because we don't use más with them or menos with them. They are just the words that they are. Mejor, peor, mayor, menor. Okay.
Here are some example sentences.
And good to
Notice
see your
that the
examples.
irregular comparative words do not change according to gender.
So
but
they don't
do
get a
change
feminine
in the
form.
plural. They are followed by que when a comparison follows, but can also stand alone to make implied comparisons. Este vino es malo. Es peor que el mío. Esta película es buena, pero la otra es mejor.
Okay, and there we go. Yeah. Es peor, it's worse, peor que, worse than mine. Okay, I'm putting up another thing as comparison. Esta película es buena, pero la otra es mejor, but the other one is better. Es mejor, es mejor. But notice we don't have a feminine form with mejor, right? We don't have a feminine form with peor. It's just peor or mejor. But they could be plural if you're talking about plural things. That is possible. But then we add an es onto the end. Peor, peores, mejor, mejores.
The words mayor and menor are used to talk about age. Otherwise, grande and pequeño are used to talk about size.
About size, yeah.
Mi hermano es menor que yo. ¿Tu primo es mayor o menor?
Is your cousin older or younger, right? than you are. It's kind of an implied, right?
Este coche es más grande que el tuyo, pero es más pequeño que el mío.
Okay, to talk about bigger or littler for things, we don't use mayor, menor, right? We go back to grande and pequeño. So we use mayor, menor to talk about people. Or maybe like pets, if you have pets, right? But we don't use mayor, menor to talk about things very frequently.
Mejor and peor are also the comparatives of the adverbs bien and mal. For example, Diana canta mejor que Daisy. Yo creo que Diana canta peor.
So we can use peor, mejor to talk about actions. Diana canta mejor que Daisy. She sings better. Okay. Creo que Diana canta peor. I think she sings worse. So we can use mejor, peor to talk about how you do an action. Okay. Y eso es. That's it. So what I'm going to want you to do, and I might add some little things to it. I'll give you the link to that again so you can watch. And I'm going to send you also a little description of these comparisons. I'm going to pop some of these pictures and then probably some other ones I'll add on. I'm going to want you to think of some creative descriptions to talk about these people, to compare them. These are going to be very unequal comparisons, some of them, yes. You would normally not compare Queen Elizabeth with Marilyn Monroe, except to say they're very different, right? So these are going to be descriptions to talk about how people are different because they're going to be comparisons. So we'll do these and some other comparisons as well. And I'm going to pop these into my description of how comparisons work. So you've got notes on this. So the ideas that you saw in that video, you're going to see in a Google slide set, and we'll ask you to come in and do some comparisons next week and prep that. So still descriptions, but in the comparison world with some of those for irregulars also thrown in. And then you'll get a regular, plain old, just listening pleasure video for listen comprehension that won't really be tied to any particular grammar thing. Okay? ¿Todo bien?
Sí.
¿Todo
prima.
bien? Excelente. Okay.
Gracias.
Entonces, no se olviden, don't forget about registration for all the classes that you participate in. Bueno, nos vemos sí la semana que viene.
Chao, hasta luego.
Adiós.
Sí, adiós. Sí, que tengan muy buena semana. May you have a very good week.